What's up, Trekkies? Hi, so you're gonna have to forgive any noise in the background. Apparently, they want to grind up every tree on our apartment complex. It's not every tree, they're just grinding up the cotton cherry blossom trees because apparently pretty trees are a bad thing. Anyways, so news across the board. It's the 21st today, 28th, wow, Mardi Gras, whatever, my calendar is all screwy. Anyways, so we got that day, the 28th will be a Vesta video because AdSense has sent the deposit through to my bank. The bank needs to accept the deposit, and I checked on the history. That happens the day after. I'll have money tomorrow, and then I'll be able to get my Vestas. Now, I have a suspicion about the Vestas, and I'm not sure if it's true. Just to let you know, I will be buying the Federation pack, the 3-pack, and I'm going to be flying probably the science-oriented one. I will eventually, in my own time, do the other 3 to get their traits, because you can never have enough traits. I mean, there's no list, there's no maximum list. In order for stuff. Anyways, back to that. So that will be next Tuesday. If it's a big news day, it will be a second video. So there'll be 2 Trek Tuesdays. Weird. Second, what do we got going here? So there's a story called The Means to an End. It's a fiction blog. It's about the true reason behind the reasoning behind Zenkethi attacks becomes more clear in our latest fiction blog. What drives their fascination with protomatter? Okay, of science importance, week 4 award? No, that's old. Yeah, that was posted last Thursday. Never mind. We've got this thing, the Arena of Sompek special event. I looked into this one. I'm not sure if this is it's on PC only. Sorry. I do have news for you, console people, and it's a big one. So yeah. So it says on February 23rd, this coming Thursday, 9 a.m. PST, levels between levels 50 and 60 can queue up for a new Arena of Sompek event. Enter the Klingon holodeck and train in one of the Empire's older traditions. Can't pronounce it. I don't do my Klingon, and I'm probably a bad Trekkie for that, but I just look at that and go, that doesn't look like Polish and they don't look like German. So I'm not sure if it's a free-for-all arena or whatnot. It might be, because once the battle starts, it doesn't end until all captains fall. So that's between environmental hazards, ever-strengthening enemies, captains will need to keep moving and fight as a team to last as long as they can. The longer you last, the more rewards you will earn. Is it a free-for-all? I don't know. This includes your choice of marks. Can you survive 100 rounds? It might be. I could see them putting in 2 Arena Sompeks. This doesn't explain much, but have it a PvP one, and which is a generalized free-for-all, and then a PvE one where you all beam in and you have to basically fight waves of enemies, which can be cool. I'll have to see how some folks, what they think of it. So, the balance changes. I've been drinking the tears of a lot of people. So, the balance issue, as I have been reading not necessarily gone through the Star Trek Online forums, but like the Star Trek Online Facebook group, or the comments on the post that happens inside my fleet, or a couple other groups I belong to, they're like, hey, look, here come the balance changes. Then I just opened up like 54 comments and I'm just like eating the popcorn because I'm just here for the comments, and people are like, meh. So here's the thing. Star Trek Online's been around for, as they say here, 7 years at this point. World of Warcraft has been around for a lot longer. There was a major balance change 2 years ago, and then there was another one slightly before. Like, they tried to tweak it, and they don't want to tweak it too much, so they're like, we're gonna, it's like boom, 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 and then they're like, oh shit. Like, they really had to do it at that point. They tried to keep dialing it back every single time to prevent the power creep, but eventually it was getting, the curve was getting out of control. There's only so much. You know, when you raise by 100%, you only pull it back 20%. The physical numbers that increase are just insane. So that's what Star Trek Online is having to do, because all games need to do it. Unless you really want to deal, like with World of Warcraft right now, we're dealing with millions of damage. And I'm not joking. Like, I don't even have to do, like, I don't have to stack superpower abilities to get up to a certain point and have it during a certain boss. No, I'm saying I can hit 1,000,000 damage on a creature in the world with one ability, you know? It's not common, but certain classes can get up to just 500,000 DPS. I mean, we're talking 500,000 of damage per second. Actually, a lot of classes can, not just a few classes. Anyways, what this balance boils down to is the fact that there are certain playstyles that there's two sides, and each side, in a weird way, calls each other wrong. There's the people that have a mild roleplay, aren't very serious about the game, try to get all the best gear they can, but not like push their gear to the limit. They take place in missions, they go in PvE stuff to get their marks, to get, you know, more gear, better gear, yada yada. They're I guess you could call them casual plus. They're the ones that get all their R&D stuff put out of the way, but they don't do it every day. They get their reputations done, but they don't do it every day. They don't do it on the 20-hour marker. And then there's the people that do that, and they're like, well, you guys are just slacking. And then we have it in WoW too. We have the super raiders and the super DPS people that look at pretty much everybody else in the game as a piece of crap. The problem is the piece of crap people make up the bulk of the game. So you have like you have a pyramid. And you have the top of the pyramid, I'm gonna say, shitting on the bottom of the pyramid. And so people are like, well, that shit rolls downhill. Yeah, well, you know what? Without a player base, this game doesn't stick around. And so, but the people are tired of getting shit on, so they yell at the people at the top. And it's just, So that's always gonna be there. It says also another thing is to increase the fun. Well, to make it fun on both sides. In order to do that, to get the numbers people to have more fun, because even I've heard some people, they go like, well, I go into an elite and it's just like a cakewalk and this game isn't even that hard anymore. Well, then ratchet up the difficulty. You know, WoW did it, they put in mythics. Talks about player investment retains value. Well, that seems strange, but there are a wide variety of builds in this game. To the point that I don't try to crap much upon anybody else's build. The only thing I really crap upon is A2B, and not because it is not functional. Because it is incredibly functional. The problem is it's incredibly expensive and it's ridiculously mainstream. And so you've got the commonplace person who's trying to look for a good build in Star Trek Online and they see A2B, so they do everything to get A2B, but they don't have the technicians. And they are, you know, free-to-play players that only have a 10 million cap on their EC and they can't go to the exchange and buy these, like, well, at least when I was looking it up last, these duty officers that cost 100, 120 million EC. So they have to get their friends to buy it for them, and it's expensive-ish. They feel that, you know, the if it's a popular spec, it's the best spec, and that's human sheep behavior. It's not the best spec. When I look at HB, I'm like, wow, that's functional, that's really nice. Doesn't necessarily work for everyone, but it's ridiculously popular because it's a very baseline build. It doesn't take much to learn it. The next thing on this list says, choices should be meaningful. Anywhere in the game gives you a choice. Anywhere the game gives you a choice, there should be no choice that you always take, nor one you never take. WoW had this problem with talents, and there used to be a giant talent tree. And then they then they slimmed it down, Now we have like 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, and 100. Those are our talent levels, and there's 3 across the board. What Blizzard keeps trying to do is they try to make each level equal with each level. I mean, obviously you're gonna get a better talent at 100 than you will at 15, but you shouldn't look at well, I'm always gonna take the middle talent on 15. I mean, maybe for your playstyle, sure. It shouldn't be the fact that everyone, or that 75% of the players are always taking the middle talent because it's the best talent. So that's what I think they're going to try to do here. That when you have a choice to do something, it should be just as good as another one and not be like, oh, well, I feel like crap. They've put in some of the weird changes here. The immediate change that's being made to ground combat, which is sadly lacking in all things. I love my ground combat. I put a lot of points into, kit performance and all that jazz, but nobody really likes to do ground, and when they do ground, and I'm looking at you, little Romulan base in the past with that one, I forget what it's called, minor instabilities. Go into that one, and people are like, I'm like, why are you shooting the sky? The guys are over there. and they'll run from, it's almost like people don't know how to do ground. Like they're like, I'm on the ground, what do I do? I'm like, this isn't the Wild West, quit shooting into the air. You know? I've literally watched the enemies just come sweeping through the north base because I ran over to the west base and then the north entrance, whatever, and like all the enemies came in because everyone was waiting around me. And I was like, and I moved and like everyone had me on follow. And I was like, okay. It says a stealth module redesign will improve its general usefulness and unique feel, which probably means not many people are using the stealth module. Apparently it's going to be a short duration cloak that you can activate anytime, and you're going to get a damage buff while attacking from behind that lasts the duration the stealth buff would have, but ending the stealth early. That allows you in the middle of combat to just stealth, run through something, turn around, and start firing something from behind. You get a damage buff, and then you keep getting a damage buff from behind. Just hope to God you don't pull the next trash mobs. Your captain now uses a comm badge to communicate. Many of the command kit modules that used just affect an area now affect your entire team, no matter how far. It's another thing. So rather than whoom, you know, and having like, you'll have thing like, because I know some people like to just run off in the middle of nowhere, and you're like, I can't buff you, can't do anything. So tactical initiatives receiving a few changes. It now lasts longer, but cannot have its cooldown reduced and only affects the caster's kit module, so not your actual tactical officer ability. The changes are intended to make it so that that tactical initiative remains valuable to use while active, but changes the amount of performance spike that non-tactical captains can get due to tactical captains, and ensures that non-kit abilities designed around a long cooldown retain that balance point. Yeah. Security escorts should now be more useful when combat. Cadre of stupids! They now move faster and keep up with you better and hit harder while out, but in return, players are limited to one pair at a time. I don't know how that affects the duty officer. But anyways, these are just a little list. That's just a little list of the changes. There's probably going to be a whole bunch of changes coming. I mean, that's just tactical. There's probably going to be a science and an engineering change coming for ground and space across the board. Now that I'm off on like a long tangent of the balance changes, we need to talk about the console changes. Now, this is what's screwy. I am not going to go over the ships that are coming to the console because I literally did a video. Like, I watched the video while I read it, and I was like, this is word for word. Like, these ships have the exact same traits, the exact same consoles, and all that jazz. I'm going to put a link downstairs, and there's a card. If the card's been there the entire time, that's cool. If it's just here at the end, that's okay. And that card will lead to the video from a year ago when these ships came out for PC. These are the exact same ships coming out for console, so you get to watch that video. And I'm gonna cut this one short because there's not much else to do. We'll chat with you guys next week.